Hello, my name is Tyler. Tyler's Fins. I have a business that makes fins for swimmers.
Metal fins for
Metal
fish.
fins for fish.
Metal fish.
Metal fish. Actually, I
Fish
make
that like Iron Maiden.
that's. That is exactly what I do.
Wow. I tried to be cool like you, and it didn't work.
Well,
One day.
it is good. Well, Taylor, thank you so much for being here today.
Glad to be here.
I am so excited to finally, after like the whole morning of pretending you weren't actually here in the building, get the chance to say hello and hear about whatever the hell it is you do with your little figurines and outfits.
hot dog man.
The hot dog man. So for those of you that are listening on the audio version, there is a little tin man sitting on the table with a cigar in his mouth. I thought looked a lot like a hot dog.
It can be a hot dog.
It can be a hot. I mean, because firemen are hungry.
Yeah,
People,
I think
I mean-
it fits both. It's whatever you want it to be.
That's good. I like the interpretation. Well, kick me off this morning. Tell me, what the hell is it that you guys do? What is Taylor's Tins?
We make metal fire helmet fronts and other things, but that's kind of our bread and butter is we make helmet fronts out of aluminum.
Oh, sick. How long you been doing that?
2017.
2017. Holy shit. I can't do that math. So that's like 10 years?
Like 6 or
6
7,
years.
something like that.
That is
Also bad
pretty
at
cool.
math, so
It's some number of years from 2017 to today.
Whatever.
That's good. So, yeah, give me the backstory. So you guys, you're a fireman, right? Or you were?
was.
You were. Tell me, how'd that start?
I was kind of known around the fire department for being crafty and being capable. I did a lot of carpentry stuff and decor stuff for basically my job was, my side hustle was if you could find it on Pinterest, I would try and make it work and I'd sell it to you.
Really?
So
That's awesome.
that was
Let
kind
me
of...
guess, like pallet chairs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Signs, did a lot of baby gates, barn
Did you?
doors.
Did you look at that?
I loved doing carpentry. I loved working with my hands. And was an art student in high school.
Oh, really?
Not an overachiever.
That's
at
an
all.
odd track for a fireman.
Uh-huh. Well, I had decided at an early age, 5 years old, I'm going to be a fireman. And that's what I set my goal to. And, you get...
As so many kids do.
You get a quarter of the way through high school and they're like telling you, you really don't have to be here.
Yeah.
Maybe this isn't for you. You want to be a fireman anyway, just let's fast track this. I took art classes and
Really?
phys ed, stuff like that.
That's awesome.
I get done and luckily, basically pretty much right out of high school, I got a paid job.
Oh,
So I'm
really?
like 20 years old now and working in Cape Girardeau, Missouri as a career fireman. And I got bummed up in the first year and needed to have arm surgery.
Oh, really?
But I didn't have any sick time or anything. So
How long had you been on at that point?
less than a year. Like, they were pissed.
Oh, really?
It
Dude,
wasn't-
that sucks.
it
What, did you get hurt on the job or just out?
No, it was like repetitive motion. And
bet it
I know it
was.
doesn't look like it now, but I used to be in good physical shape.
Oh, excellent.
So destroyed my joints. And,
no.
Yeah, it sucked. But it wasn't on long enough to have any sick time or get paid while I was off work.
Oh, interesting.
So I went back to what I knew, which was like art, and started painting and doing all this.
Wow, you were off from the fire
while I
department?
was off,
Oh,
just to
interesting.
supplement my income that I didn't have.
Yeah.
Well, then fast forward, that was just my thing for several years.
Yeah.
Off duty job. Every firefighter has to have one.
That's the whole point of this show is hearing people's, what do you do in the 48? You know,
Mm-hmm.
what's that time spend?
So get down the road a little bit, and like any great idea, it started around a fire station kitchen table.
Yeah.
Where we live, we're only 2 hours south of St. Louis, and St. Louis is known for wearing metal helmet fronts since
Really?
like the 40s, 50s. So
Interesting. I didn't know that was a thing. I mean, I knew you did it, but I
it's
didn't know
a
anybody
thing,
else did. Yeah.
right? And it's one of those untold traditional things in the fire service.
Huh.
Sidetrack for a second. That's probably one of my little pet peeves. Is one of those arguments against the tins that we hear sometimes. I'm a traditional guy. I like my leather. I'm a traditional guy. It's like,
Oh, interesting. Not actually all that traditional.
not all that traditional. Metal shields and leather shields ran parallel with each other in the early 1900s.
Really?
It wasn't until World War II when metal became scarce that they fell out of favor.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just assumed like you had an old. Were the old helmets the same stuff? Were the helmets metal too, or was it just
the
whole
tin
thing?
helmets? Yeah, I've actually got an example out there for you guys to look at.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
It's actually a legit old St. Louis City fire helmet. It's a metal helmet with a metal shield.
Really?
So cool stuff like that. So it comes up at the kitchen table, and at the time, I was still really young and not super educated in the history of the fire service.
Yeah. You've been on for a couple years at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're looking at probably 4 years, 5 years, something like that. I'm terrible with timelines. And decided to give it a shot and started playing with, how is this going to work, experimenting with different paints and materials, and how am I going to bring this to life? And after several months of playing with it, finally came up with a process that I was okay enough with trying to promote.
Yeah.
This looks good enough to sell, I guess.
Yeah.
And, looking back on it, I was really proud of these items, and I thought that they were top notch. Now looking back, I'm like, wow, those look bad. They're so bad. Oh my gosh. I was like, wow. Like, we get pictures from people today.
They're like, oh, I love my
They're like, hey, still wearing it since like 2018. I'm like, can you throw that away? I'll just send you a new one. I'd love to just give you a new one. Yeah. Please don't show anybody that. I don't want them to think that that's what we're doing right now. Awesome. It's vintage. That's cool and all, but let's hide that from sunlight.
I want to go back in time. Why did you want to be a fireman? What was like when you were a kid, when you were 5 years old and decided I want to be a fireman one day? Who cares? Why?
I think about that sometimes, and I think it was just one of those things that like a 5-year-old says.
Every 5-year-old says they should.
But I said it so much that I just followed through with it. I guess
interesting.
Intentionally or unintentionally, it just was like.
Are your folks firemen or anything, or firefighters? No, really. Any family members or anything? You're the first one on the crew.
Yeah, I had a neighbor growing up. I had 2 neighbors growing up that were firemen, so I think that probably helped solidify it a little bit.
Yeah,
and there's this love, I guess, for firemen.
Yeah,
you don't hate a fireman, so
better not.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So it just seemed like it was what I wanted to do. I did the junior volunteer explorer thing up and stuff like that, and then volunteered. And
what'd your folks think of it when you were doing that?
They were all on board.
Really?
It's not like I was going to go be a rocket scientist or anything. So they're like, yeah, just stay on that track, homeboy. You got it. No way. Yeah, it worked out good.
Were they ever worried about you, or was it like, nah, this is what he wants to do. I'm going to go, so I'll support it. It's fine.
I don't know. That'd be a good question for them. I don't know that they ever did worry or anything like that.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I moved 2.5 hours away from where I grew up to go be a career fireman because the pool is it's a tight race around that area. So
what was like when you were first getting into it? What was kind of your first, not experience, but like what was it like first deal? When you were an explorer somewhere, was that at your local place or was that at the?
Yeah, it was the town I grew up in had an explorer program and I did that for a while, and then the next town over had volunteers where you were like allowed to blue light. And so now I'm 18 years old and I've got the junk box Mustang with all the LEDs. It was out of control, but that's kind of where it all started, and then led to a decent little career.
That's awesome. What was it like your first crew that you were working with? What kind of talk about the station environment when you were the new guy?
I went to an area that was it's one of 2 career departments in the entire area. So the culture was really, really good.
This is outside of St. Louis somewhere?
This is 2 hours south of St. Louis.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So down in the country.
Yeah, rural.
Yeah, we got rural real quick. So it was a culture shock for me coming from where I came from.
And you lived in a more urban area before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I grew up in real suburbanite sprawl.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. I grew up in Fairfax County in Virginia, and it's like right outside D.C. And so I guess they technically have volunteers, but it's not like when I came down, I applied for the little rural volunteer Lillington Fire Department. They were like, Bo, if you got a heartbeat, you can come be a volunteer. And in Fairfax, it was like, oh, this shit, it was like very,
We got rules.
Yeah, exactly. And the rural fire service is very, not that it's better, which is very different,
Yes. But. And that all ties in really well to something that I've experienced through this, career path that I've chosen now, is that I actually feel like today I know more about the fire service as a whole and the history and the traditions of things and how things are done around the country than I could have ever known or experienced working at the fire department.
Interesting. Because now you're kind of tertiary to it, looking in.
Everywhere.
Oh, that's cool.
I get to get out. I get to meet new people. I get to, what style ranking system do you use?
I guess that matters, yeah.
Yeah. different people use, it's little weird things like different departments attribute different collar brass to different ranks.
Oh, interesting.
So where you might just assume the captain is 2 upright bugles on their shield,
It might not be the case.
it might not be.
Oh, wow. Were you always a history guy? Like, did that excite you?
I do love the history of the fire service.
So fire service history,
Yeah.
not like World War II. Who cares or
No.
whatever?
Well,
maybe
a
the
little-
Revolutionary War not so
yeah,
important.
not so much. But I find the American fire service history to be really, really interesting.
Yeah.
And it's held near and dear to people continuously.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's important to continue to educate new firemen about why they're even there.
Was it interesting to you when you were in the role, like as you were running calls, that sort of thing?
Nope.
Didn't care.
Didn't care.
It was afterwards.
It was afterwards.
That's wild.
It's weird to say, but I squandered my opportunity to be a career fireman.
To go chase business. Mm-hmm. Were you always into business?
Yeah.
Really?
I've always been very entrepreneurial, and looking back on it, firefighting wasn't what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
I look back on it, and I was given an opportunity that some people aren't given, and that's to get paid to be a fireman.
Yeah.
And when I look back on it now, I feel like I squandered it. I wasn't the fireman that I could have been. I didn't put the effort into it
Interesting.
that it deserved. So,
Why do you think?
Because I didn't know what I had.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it at the time that was such an opportunity. It was just
Yeah.
kind of like I'm here kind of thing. And now looking back on it and 40,000 foot view, zooming out and looking back on it, I'm like, one of the first things I told my wife when I decided to go do this full time and make the helmet shields and run a business related to the fire service was, I'm going to put all of the effort into this business that I should have put into my career as a fireman.
Interesting. Yeah. That's pretty cool. So when you started doing this, it had the fire service culture and traditions behind you. You were kind of in the business role, right? Like kind of in I'm going to try kitchen table conversations. I'm going to start this business. Were there other folks on your crew that were also business people or that had side hustles? Making stuff on Pinterest, that sort of thing?
Yeah. Everybody on that department's got a side hustle. They're either
What
cutting
are they
grass
into?
or doing construction or pouring concrete, or everybody had something they did on the side.
Why do you? Because that's the whole purpose of this show is exploring. Like every fireman I know does something, and I was the same. I started the business in the bays of the fire station. I was like riding an ambulance and slinging lights. But I wonder what it is about firefighters that makes them do that, suited for that. What do you think?
I think it's a personality trait where they're, maybe for a lack of a better term, just anxious people, and they got to stay busy.
Yeah.
And that's probably a good outlet for those guys to go and do something additional.
Were there any guys on your shift or on your crew that were like mentor-y type folks, or that you kind of chatted about your business with as you were starting it?
Not as I started it. I was very reserved. I don't really, I didn't lay a lot on people or anything. I'm like, hey man, I got a question. I need some help with this kind of thing. It's usually just kind of like the battles in my own head kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there's people that I can look up to and watch how they do something and essentially try and mimic it in my own version.
Yeah.
And I had a captain for several years that I really looked up to and valued his work ethic and how he did things.
Yeah. Interesting. Why did you switch from, you said your side hustle was like stuff on Pinterest, like that sort of stuff. What drove you to do that? And then why did you switch into doing shields?
The shields took off.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
So you just one day was like, okay, I'll try a shield. In addition to all the other stuff, it was just like, let me just try this thing too.
Yeah, I was a short order cook for individual orders.
Yeah.
And that only gets you so far.
Yeah.
You know, I was mostly local. I had an Etsy shop and stuff like that, and we shipped stuff all over the country, but it wasn't paying the bills, I guess.
What sort of stuff were you doing? I mean, was it like more like truly carpentry stuff?
Yeah, wooden stuff, and I did a lot of like pop art style paintings. If you want to, you can find the Facebook page still. It exists.
No way.
Taylor
That's cool.
Paints.
No way. I'm definitely looking that up. That's going to be cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so then the tins thing, you made the first tins and threw them online.
Yep.
So where did that go? Did you post them on Facebook, or like what was the first kind of deal?
The first few ones got posted on Taylor Paints.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. Yeah, because I had a
Was
lot
it
of
mostly
firefighter
firemen that like?
I had a lot of fireman friends on there, and most of the business catered to like housewives, moms, stuff like that. People that But obviously all of my friends and stuff like that, they were all
follow.
following it anyway. So started posting there, and one day I posted it in Fire Hall Flea Market.
Oh, I remember that group. Yeah, everyone sells their old like blue lights from their.
Yep. And I love that Facebook group because you can still search my first post.
No way.
Type in Taylor's Tins, and that post from 2017 will still pop up.
No way. That's cool.
That's pretty neat. And watching all the reactions to it and stuff, and reading the comments from, like, going back in time kind of thing.
Was the first 10? Was it a 10 or was it? What did you make for? Was it a
I
leather?
made them out of steel. I was hand cutting.
With shears, or were you having to use a grinder or something?
We were using anything to get my hands on. We tried band saws, and
oh, really?
it was spicy. Yeah,
That's
they
wild.
were heavy.
Were you a metal person? Like, had you worked metal before?
Not at all. I had no experience at all.
How the hell did you learn how to do that?
It's all self-taught, man. You put your mind to something, you can teach yourself anything.
Yeah.
So I ruined a lot of metal and wasted a lot of time and money and bought gobs and gobs of powder coat and paint. And
Oh, really?
everything was stenciled. So the final product, what I ended up being comfortable with selling, was engine enamel and stencils.
Really? What did it say? It would just be like your name, or like, did you do logos and stuff, or was it just you would get the 10 how you wanted, and then just screen on or stencil on whatever you wanted?
Yeah, you'd paint it one color. So if your text was white, you'd paint it white, and then you'd put the vinyl on there that was the text. And then you'd paint over that. So then when you peel the vinyl off, your text shows through your base color. So it was a lot of problem solving and like abstract thought. How am I going to take this image and bring it to life over here 3-dimensionally by hand?
And the first ones weren't all that great.
They were awful. God, they were so bad.
That's awesome. How did you build them? So were they handmade, hand cut, that sort of thing, just in your garage?
Yep. We were hand cutting them, and then it was unbelievable the amount of support that I got from that Fire Hall Flea Market post.
Really? So people were excited for you, or
Yeah.
like, yeah, I want one.
Yeah. I mean, within the first day that I posted it, we had 20 inquiries.
Really?
I was like, whoa.
How did you know how to price it, or what was that like?
I just went with whatever the market standard was.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I deserved to come in and be like, write a price.
So you just like Googled like, hey, what's another one of these things?
I just went for what's leather going for.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, okay, I want to be competitive.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of where we started.
That's awesome. It's funny how like in business, that's always one of the early things you have to figure out is like, okay, so I got to price this thing. I got to figure out all the little details, but you don't think about that being one of the barriers. Like I would just assume the barriers are making the thing, but selling it, posting it, finding people to be interested in it.
When you boil down what the product is, it's a piece of metal and some paint. You can't really have everything else is labor.
Yeah.
So then I had to price out, well, what's my time worth?
Did you do all of it, or were you working with someone to do it?
All me. It started off as all me, and it was all me for a while, and then it got to a point where, reached a tipping point where I had to, because I was still on the job at the time.
Yeah, talk about that growth a little bit while you were working. How did it begin to grow? What was that growth like from side hustle to thinking, okay, this actually might be a real thing?
It took off pretty quick to the point where, regretfully, I have to admit that on shift, I was spending more time working on my side hustle than I was working on being a fireman.
Yeah.
And that's where some of that regret comes in, where it's like, ugh, like I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing when I was there. I wasn't training. I wasn't doing...
Maybe for that job, but what do you think about the industry today? Now you're able to support the industry in a way different way than...
I'm twice the fireman now than I ever was.
There you go. Build the foundation.
I am leaving... Gosh, I could go on for hours. Legacy.
So you're in the bays. You're kind of thinking about work all the time. Candidly, I did the same thing. My station captain at the EMS agency was like, look, once you wash the truck and trucks are checked off, I don't give a shit what you do if station duties are done. But if the call goes off, you better fucking hang the phone up and go.
Yeah,
get on the
absolutely.
truck.
And I'm not saying like I would like abandon the truck or anything crazy like that.
Of course.
It was just, I wasn't
where your brain
performing
Yeah.
at the level that I should have been performing or been giving to the opportunity that I had been given to get paid to be a fireman.
Yeah. When I think of like the career guys that I really admire, they're like in the bays all day, training dragon hoses, doing, whatever, like all that sort of stuff. And it's like, I can see that. And I wouldn't have done that. I mean, I was busy doing this. And so, yeah, maybe that's not a great thing, but it's still, it's interesting though. So then did you find your heart being pulled into more and more of the 10s and
I'll tell you exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I did it, and I did it, and I did it, and everything was good, and I was satisfied with where we were at. We were growing. I was bringing in guys part-time that would come and help on their days off. Firemen.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a steady pool of workforce, and you know when they're not working.
So it was working out great, and you know, it was good. I was satisfied. I thought, oh, okay, cool. This is now just my side hustle. I went out on another shoulder surgery.
Oh, no.
So I had another one, and I was out for, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah, just on leave.
On leave, just on leave. I had plenty of sick time by now. You know, I could take some time off. I took that time off, and while I was out on sick leave, the business blossomed.
Interesting, because you could put your attention on it, huh?
All of it. I poured myself into it. 16 hours a day, every single day for months and months, awesome. And now years. But they called and they're like, "Hey, you're about out of sick time. You got to come in. If you're not ready to get back on the truck," which I was not.
Yeah.
You got to ride the desk.
Kill me. There's no way I would do that.
I was like,
listen to the radio all day and watch your pals go run calls. There's no way in hell I would do that.
The business was going to suffer.
Yeah.
I knew that.
And you were going to be miserable at work, huh?
Yep. So I had effectively quadrupled the business in 3 months, and I had a decision to make. It was go back and ride the desk and finish out my career and
on admin, doing something like that. Yeah.
Eventually probably back on a truck, but I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do both. I wasn't going to be able to treat the business that I was fostering and grow it to where I now wanted to see it, because by now I'm obsessed.
Oh yeah. What was it like? 16-hour days? A lot of people that I talk, when I tell people my work schedule, they're like, "Oh, you're married to the job. I can't believe you do that. You're going to burn out." I'm like, you know, like the cliche, "Oh, if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life." I think that's horseshit, but I also think if you love what you do, it's do what you love, and just period. Like, never work a day in your life. No, I bust my ass every day.
Yes.
But I still fucking love working. So I'm curious, like, did you feel a difference when you were doing that? And you were, it's long hours, but talk about what it's like to be spending long hours building a business.
There was so much to do and learn, and the R&D went through the roof. I'm talking the product, they weren't painted anymore.
Oh, really? What was the transition?
We had discovered a process.
A magic process.
Process.
That we'll never disclose.
Family secret. Effectively, a very specialized printer for putting the images on there.
Oh, really? So you don't actually have to paint every single one these days. It's done. There's a special process that a machine can help you with.
We had to decide. We can only crank out so many of these things at this current pace.
Yeah.
That's not going to work forever.
Interesting.
It needs to go faster. The customers want these now.
How did you kind of explore? Did you have a background in, like, I don't know, what's the most similar industry? Sign making, maybe?
No, not really. I had been playing on Photoshop since I was like 15, so I understood graphic design. I took a couple light graphic design classes in like high school. Yeah. Just simple stuff, nothing that taught me anything super valuable. But I was self-taught in Photoshop. I knew how to do graphic design. Yeah. In high school, I worked at a gym.
Interesting.
So I knew how to sell.
It's important. Yeah.
You got to know how to sell. And I had just spent the past 4.5, 5 years running a very small town, local kind of internet-based business. So I learned how to communicate with people, all while working as a fireman, learning that dynamic as well. Yeah. So you compile all of this education, I call it, into this entire thing. And by the time I was ready to resign from the fire department, I knew what I had to do.
That's so wild. So did you actually have a formal education or?
None. I left high school and I got an EMT license and Fire 1 and 2, and I went and became a fireman.
No. Did you get your high school diploma? Or
I got that.
That's good. I didn't do that. So
lucky you. No, they made me stay for that.
I got my good enough diploma. Good enough to get the hell out of there.
I left early.
Really?
Yeah, my senior year I went half days.
Oh,
and
really?
I would go to work.
That's awesome.
So it was always, I was like a B- student, not a C student, but a B- student. I didn't care. I didn't want to be there. That's not what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be a fireman.
I always tell people the first 4 years, I ran a business that did not succeed, but it was basically 4 years, and we made alternative fuels. It was a really interesting business, but I spent as much as I would have spent at a university, and I learned 100 times more in 4 years doing something. And I feel like everybody, the first couple of years of business are the education that so many people go pay for this, and then it's like, you hear how someone else who obviously wasn't successful doing it because they're teaching would have done it. I mean, like,
if you can't, you teach.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, like, they'd be doing whatever their business was. So that people pay for that type of education. I would rather just go do it. It's like, okay, even if you start it or you try and it doesn't blow up and succeed,
an apprenticeship.
You're going to spend 4 years learning it. I mean, are you kidding me? That is so cool.
Absolutely.
Tell me about what it was like when you left the fire station.
So we got down to the wire. They said, "Hey, this is the day you're coming back to ride the desk," and I had to make a decision.
You were kind of like voluntold. It's
Yeah. Oh, you're coming
get
back.
off the pot. Yeah.
You can go without pay, but that's not going to be wise at this point, kind of thing. And I said, "Okay," and talked to my wife about it a little bit. And I think we both kind of knew by then. It's not like it snuck up on us. We had time to think and talk about it. So I typed up my resignation letter and went up to the firehouse and went to the chief's office and gave him the whole spiel and everything. And he said, "All right, well, it was good having you." We talked for a while. It was a short, uninspirational conversation.
Sure.
And it was my crew that was on duty that day.
Man, so you had to tell the guys.
As soon as I was done with him, upstairs. I went upstairs, and there was a captain on duty there, and he wasn't mine. He was on a trade or something. And he's like, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I just turned in my resignation." And this dude was mind blown. He's like, "Why? Why'd you do that?" Like, no.
And it wasn't your normal stage guy. You know this guy.
I know him. It's a small department, 60 guys. You know everybody.
Yeah.
I was like, he's like, "You can't do that. Did you ask him for like more time off? Like, what? Can't you just come back and ride the desk? What? Like, don't quit. Like, don't quit." He couldn't fathom. Like, he didn't understand the business behind the scenes.
Like, actually, I need to go run a business. I'm not just quitting.
Good. And then my captain, Quentin Gaither, he was a strong presence. He was known in our area for building multi-million-dollar homes.
A business guy.
He's a very good business guy. And it's just a very all-around kind of intimidating guy, but I looked up to him as he was one of my, "You're not my mentor, but I'm definitely watching you."
Oh, yeah.
Kind of thing.
You can be a mentor without knowing you're a mentor.
Yeah. So he walks in like, "What's up, Quentin?" He's like, "What's up, dude?" Other captain over here, I'm trying not to say his name because I'm afraid he'll see this. "Quentin, Taylor just quit. You try and talk to him. Tell him, Quentin, don't you think maybe he should ask for like FMLA or more time off or something like that? Maybe they'll hold his spot." And I'll never, ever forget, Quentin set his food down on the table, and he turned around, and he picked his glasses up and put them on the top of his head, and he went, "Let me tell you something, dude. When I jump off a cliff, I don't take a rope." And I was like, "Yeah." Because that's what the other guy's getting at. He's like, "You're taking an unnecessary risk.
Yeah.
You don't need to do this." I was literally walked away from a career with a retirement, a union firefighting job. Who knows? I'd probably be a captain by now or something. Job would have progressed.
But this is where you're meant to be.
Yeah. When I jump off a cliff, I don't take a rope.
That is great advice.
Just take the risk. Just go.
If you're going to commit, don't have commit.
Yeah. If you take that rope, you're planning on going back.
Nah, yeah.
Don't go back.
That is so interesting.
So I never turned around.
What good advice. That's good wisdom.
That's at the top. That was my one thing that's always stuck with me. And anybody that I get to know well enough that'll listen to my story, I love telling that story.
I love that. That's great. So when you started making that transition into kind of, you resigned from the fire department, what was the first day like?
It was bizarre. Like, I had already not been at the fire department for months, but for some reason that day after I turned in my resignation, that was weird.
Were you married or no?
Yeah, married, and I had a kid on the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a big jump.
Mm-hmm.
What did your wife think?
Well, I mean, at the time, I wasn't, exactly raking in the dough with my career firefighting job. You know what I mean? So when I resigned, I had effectively quadrupled my income selling tins.
Oh, really?
So this wasn't.
So you were like, look, I know I'm not going to be like, eating out of cans for the rest of my life.
Before I turned in my resignation, I did the math on how many shields a month I had to sell just to make up for what I was losing from the fire department.
Oh, wow.
It was 40. I had to sell 40 shields a month to replace my income.
That's crazy. So you thought, okay, if I take full time and devote it to this, do you think I can sell 40 more shields a month? Yes.
By then we were selling up, 50 a day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. That's
so we
crazy.
But it was.
That's a lot. I had no idea you guys made that many shields.
Oh, we're up to like 200 a day now.
No way.
Yes.
I had no idea. Yeah. That is an
and then add on all the other products that we're selling now.
No way. That is so cool.
It worked out in my favor.
So what was that phase like? I mean, that going from 50 a day to 200 a day. Like, what was that growth like? How did you kind of manage that as you were, and how long did it take?
It has, fortunately, it was not an overnight bam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That I think that probably would have not worked out for the best if it would have been an overnight, literally overnight success. It has been a slow burn getting to where we are.
Yeah.
And all of the components that go into building that, and everything that has happened, it's really bizarre. Everything has happened right on time.
Interesting. Do you think that's because of planning or because of luck or because of hard work, or what do you think contributes to that?
I think it's hard luck and being aware. Did I say hard luck?
You did say hard luck. I was going to ask you what the hell that means, but I'm good.
Let's edit that out. It's hard work.
Hard work.
And
Tell me about that hard luck you just had. Sorry, I'm never going to let you live that down. This is just like a fire station. I just want you to know you got to have thick skin to sit
I gotta
at this
go.
table. Yeah. So what was it? Sorry.
It was hard luck.
Oh, hard luck. Got it.
And it was a lot of being aware. It
Yeah.
was being very aware of what was happening in the moment and recognizing what I was reacting to externally. I had my part-time workers. I mean, things were good, but I was starting to feel some pressure. It was coming down on me. And all of a sudden, 16 hours a day wasn't enough anymore.
Really? And then you just can't, you can't carry it all at that
Just
point.
can't. And I started to realize that how I was acting was affecting how we were working, and I had to make a change.
Yeah.
And we ended up hiring our first full-time person, and it affect. What's great is every time I've hired somebody, it doubles the business again.
That's so almost like fish growing to the size of a fish tank. Like you build the
Yes.
fish tank big enough and you can fit the business into it.
Yes.
Interesting. What was it like to decide I'm going to now take responsibility for this person's full-time?
It was absolutely fucking terrifying.
Really?
Yes. And what was funny, and I don't mean to talk about somebody that's not here, but when I hired the first full-time person, Jeremy Donch, I talked to him a lot.
Oh, I love Jeremy. He was here. He actually came. He was one of our first guests.
He's fantastic. And I told him what I was doing, and he's like, I was already experiencing it, but it goes back to that whole, like, I deal with these things on my own, like in my
Yeah.
head. And he said it out loud. And I was
Huh.
like, what are you in my head?
What did he say?
He said, what's it feel like to know that now you have somebody counting on you?
Yeah.
I was like, it feels great. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah, I really appreciate
Yeah.
that.
But he wasn't wrong. It was something I was already thinking.
Yeah.
But I guess I had that terrifying kind of like, this person's counting on me moment. And then I had this like sudden rush of like confidence, like, but I got this.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
I almost feel like, I wonder if it's like your first cardiac arrest when you're like lead medic on a call. It's like, or lead, whatever, person on a fire truck. It's like, oh shit, I got to do this. Oh wait, but I know what I'm doing.
And then all of a sudden you just go.
And then you do it. It's
Yep.
like, okay, well this is it. I'm where I need to be. And then you go run.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. So that employee, when they came on board, like, did you know how to train them? What was your onboarding? Were they already working part-time?
It was actually my housekeeper.
Oh, really? No way.
I had gotten so busy that like I basically asked permission from my wife. I was like, I was the stay-at-home dad now. I was
Yeah.
the housekeeper. My wife was getting her master's and she was working full-time. And I said, I need help. So we hired a housekeeper, and I ended up hiring her to work full-time for us. So we don't have a housekeeper anymore.
What did she do? What was her role like as she came on board?
This was so green and so new to me, and I have no education in this. So I just was like, I guess I'll just call you like office manager. I don't know what to really call you. And I taught her how to do everything that I was doing.
So like the manufacturing or the support or the customers or all of it?
Mostly graphic design and customer support.
Oh, really? So you get to teach someone
I
how to be a graphic
I
designer.
taught somebody graphic design. I have no formal training in graphic design, and I taught her graphic design in like 2 months.
No way. So in your business, do you build every 10 from scratch? Like it starts as a blank slate. If you want to have a picture of a dog riding a unicorn, you can draw that up and
We
make it happen?
started in a place where we were, obviously you get to a point where making the material, like I'm not forging my own aluminum now.
Oh, really?
You know what I'm saying?
Neither
So
are we, so
we
just
got
to
to
be clear.
bring that item in. So we started off locally getting all of our stuff from a local company, and then that
Yeah.
transitioned to they couldn't keep up with what we needed. So then we had to source that. So now we've got someone that manufactures aluminum signs creating.
They make that blank
Yes.
or whatever.
And that was a trying process, going from somebody that was local to somebody that was no longer local, and making sure that they could. The process that we use is very specific to us.
Yeah.
I didn't want somebody to be able to just walk onto my job.
Yeah.
So we
and put a little moat around your business and a little higher barrier.
That's exactly. Right? So I wanted to do that. So getting them the material that I needed them to use.
Oh, like not just off the shelf where I just grab the sheet. No. I need this material.
Yes.
I need it done this way.
Yes. And the coating that goes on that material.
Oh, interesting.
And I had to make sure that the way that they applied it to the metal would still work with the machines that I had developed with a special ink. And this ink is non-combustible, but that ink will only bond to certain surfaces.
Oh yeah, I guess obviously you're wearing a shield inside of a friggin' house fire, so obviously it's gotta be able to use.
Our shtick was quit burning up leather, wear Taylor's tins. So I can't sell you something that's going to burn.
Oh, that is I never actually even really thought about that. It is not a sign attached to the front of a helmet. This is a truly, like, there's engineering involved in this. There's a whole process. Mm-hmm. That's cool. So in your business, when did you hire your first employee?
I don't know.
Some number of, between 2017 and 2023.
Yes.
Somewhere back in that time. So after the first employee, how many do you have now?
6, including me.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you divide your time, workforce, responsibilities? Like, how is that set up today?
It's hard to explain because there is some structure to it.
Yeah.
But it's a dance.
Yeah.
We dance every day. We come in. I've got my job that I do in the morning before anyone else gets there.
Yeah.
And that sets up the next person that comes in, that sets up the next person that comes in, that sets up. And usually by 11 o'clock, we've got 200 shields sitting on the table ready to go out the door.
That's awesome. Did you start it at your house, and has it stayed at your house, or did you?
It started in a basement in just a regular ranch-style home in a neighborhood. And after so many tractor trailers pulling up in front of your house, you start to realize, I think I need to go. Yeah. It's time for me to leave. So we went looking, and right in the middle of COVID, we went and bought a house on 8 acres with a 8,000 square foot warehouse on the property.
That is so
and
cool.
We finished off office space inside that building,
No
and
way.
everybody just come. I drive a golf cart to work.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
that's
it worked
pretty
out
cool.
well.
Well, I want to know more about the culture that you've cultivated in the business, and I have a couple other questions kind of on your background. But in the culture of your business, what is a day in the life of a Taylor's 10 employee like today? I mean, you say you can get 200 shields out on the desk by lunchtime. Yeah. That sounds awesome. But what does it mean to be an employee of yours?
It's not something that I did intentionally, but somehow, some way, my energy around the customer service and turnaround time, it was contagious.
Yeah.
It's very contagious to our employees, and they understand and respect that absolute need.
Yeah.
To spoil every single customer.
Well, I can tell you we felt it. I don't know where this box of goodies came. I had a Taylor's 10 on my desk this morning, had a flag hanging in my office. Like, I felt like $1 million when I walked into the office this morning, and it was pretty cool. I mean, I feel like if that's the experience people get with your business, it's a good experience.
I'd like to think so. We try like hell, man. I want every single person to feel special.
Yeah. I had a 10-man sitting on my desk. I felt like hell. Yeah.
I'm asking people to spend their hard-earned money on my product.
Yeah.
The least I can do is treat them like a human being.
Yeah.
And I've turned the shield industry into a concierge service.
Yeah.
People call and I answer the phone and their minds are blown. Taylor, you're like, well, thanks for taking my call. I'm like, you're welcome.
Yeah, I'm glad. What can I do to help you?
Yeah, what can I do for you today?
That's awesome.
But that it's been contagious.
Yeah.
So my office manager, Tiana, she caught on to that quickly, and she understood, and she understands the need to respond to that customer within seconds or minutes. I started that customer service thing, and I found the results were there.
Yeah.
There's no denying the results of great customer service.
Yeah.
And I think I tell people sometimes I kind of modeled our customer service experience after one that I had.
What was that?
Bose headphones.
Bose headphones?
Random as hell.
Tell me.
Broke a pair of Bose headphones. The wired ones that go around your neck or whatever. The little button came undone. Called them. Lady answered the phone. Told her what happened. She said, not a problem. We'll get you another set out right away. And I was like, I felt something. It was a very bizarre experience because I was not used to that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you're not just buying the Bose headphones. You're buying the entire experience.
That's so interesting.
Maybe those headphones only cost them $15 to make, but you're going to pay $125 for it.
So that when you need to call, guarantee they're going to take care
And
of
they're not going to be an asshole about it. They didn't make me take 15 pictures of it. They didn't make me fill out a form. There was no... Maybe they sent me a return label for the other ones, but I chalked that up to their own R&D. Like, they want to see what went wrong and how can they fix it.
Yeah.
So that's all built into the cost of the total experience.
I read your Google reviews. It was funny. Chelsea sent me like, you got to check this guy out. There's like 250 5-star people, glowing reviews. I mean, like, you can't pay people to write the stuff they wrote because it was all personal. It wasn't a robot.
Nope.
And you can see that and you can tell, like, there's something different about the way this guy runs business that I hear in the way you talk about the business that is just unique. And I think it's pretty cool.
I've said it a few times. I could sell a mediocre product, but if my customer service is what it is now, they'll keep coming back.
Yeah.
They'll keep coming back for that. We get diehard leather customers all the time because they're in a pinch and they need something I need something by Friday. And leather's this far out and I can't get it. Nobody will. You get an automatic response from somebody. You can order something from my company at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it will ship when our UPS truck backs up at 2:30 in the afternoon. And it's a guaranteed. Cool. And if you absolutely need it on Friday, you can pay for express shipping, and you'll be holding it tomorrow.
That's cool. Tell me about your philosophy on kids and sick people.
We don't charge for sick or dying kids or sick or dying firemen. If you do get charged, it might be like, hey, help us cover shipping. Cover $9, and we'll send you anything you need.
That is so cool.
I couldn't, and it's probably bad business practice, but we don't even really track our donations because I don't write them off because it's not part of the plan.
Just do the right thing and move on.
Do the right thing at the right time for the right people, and the universe will pay you back.
Yeah. Are there any like particularly impactful, like someone's called and said, hey man, like I gotta, whatever, I want like these stories I'm sure you would hear, like when people need a hand?
Yeah. Kids are hard. Especially now that I have kids, it makes kids really difficult. We had a department that we get it all the time, but I had one very specific department early on in the early days where a few of the guys at the department had ordered tins, but they wanted to make this little girl an honorary firefighter. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we're all about it. And I found out she had a brain tumor.
Oh, no.
And they made her an honorary firefighter for the day. And, we ended up in that area doing a very small trade show, like not even a trade show. It was more of like a flea market.
Yeah.
And it's burned into my memory. The mom brought the little girl over to our booth. And at this time, the tumor had progressed so far that she was no longer able to communicate. And just getting to meet her.
Yeah.
And she had the helmet with her with the shield on it.
Oh,
and some of the other local firefighters were there. And I got to meet her a week before she died.
Really?
Yeah. And it stuck with me.
I can imagine.
Pretty impactful. So, and we do that over and over and over and over again. It gives us the warm fuzzies. We know we're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Those Tin Man stuffed animals, I've sent out hundreds of them to kids.
And they probably make their friggin' day or their whole lifetime,
Yeah. We want to make the most impact possible on this industry. We do a tin of the month. We have a collector's item tin of the month. And every month we have a design. It's like the t-shirt of the month. It'd be like if you wanted to do a HiViz tin of the month, you'd be my sponsor.
Oh, cool.
And we'd make a HiViz shield. Or Fire Tech, or whatever logo I'd help you design it.
Yeah.
I'd give you a handful of them, and then it's your responsibility on this month to then promote the hell out of it. We sell it stupid cheap. I sell it for literally $5 above cost.
Oh, interesting.
And then $5 from every shield sold goes to the charity that you picked.
Oh, that's so cool.
So we
should definitely do that. That's really cool.
I'd love for you guys to do that. And so we've been doing that for now 2 years, and we've given away tens of thousands of dollars that I didn't really get anything out of other than warm fuzzies and putting product in people's hands. There's that ultimate goal of maybe somebody buys a tin that wouldn't have originally because maybe they don't understand it or they haven't seen it in person, and now they've got one. And like, oh, this is pretty fucking legit.
Yeah, it happened to be good for someone too.
Because it's all tied back to very selfishly and narcissistically, it's my legacy.
Yeah.
It's my legacy and now my team's legacy.
Yeah.
They want to be a part of this. The American Fire Service is rich with history.
Yeah.
And people don't forget it because it just keeps getting passed down over and over and over again. In my shop, I've got hundreds of vintage antique fire helmets shaped just like his with metal shields on the front of them.
So you're able to pass that legacy down, continue to build like...
I look up at these things, and they have manufacturer names on them that people have never heard of.
That's so wild.
A lot of them are Carnes and Brothers, but the Carnes and Brothers, they bought up all the other companies.
Interesting. So there were companies, legacy companies, hundreds of years old that are...
Greta Cap, the original maker of the original, what we're used to calling the traditional fire helmet, is a luggage manufacturer.
No way.
Yeah.
How did they... Do you know why did they make fire helmets?
There was a need for it.
And they thought, okay, we'll do it.
And he did it.
I always think about like in that type of situation, if I'm sitting in your shop, I'm looking at all these helmets, think about the heads that used to wear those helmets and the hearts that used to be behind them. And why were they doing what they were doing?
That helmet meant something to someone.
Yeah. Think about the people they impacted. Like we tell people in our business, the mission statement is we help first responders do their job more safely and effectively after dark. And that was it for a long time. Mm-hmm. Then we added a tag to it that says, so they can save lives. And it's all about enabling people to help save lives in their community. Yeah. And if you think about the tins that go on the front of those helmets, go on the front of helmets that people are out doing the best work. They're out saving lives. They're impacting the community. And I think that, part of that is like you want to be dressed well for whatever you're showing, and if it's pride, if it's identification, if it's whatever the word is, you want to be a complete person when you show up to go make an impact in the community. And that's supporting that person, making them feel good before they go out and impact the community, I think is such a noble thing to do.
Absolutely. And a shield it has a job. It's not just up there for funsies. Some guys it is.
Yeah.
But it's got a job to do. It lets you know what department you're with. It might be your DSN or your truck number.
Yeah.
It serves
so it's
a purpose.
ID, it's rank, It
has a purpose. It's there for a reason, or we wouldn't have them. So running around with a crusty, burned up piece of steak on the front of your helmet.
You don't know who it is. You can't, nothing.
It's not doing its job anymore. And it's also lost a little bit of that legacy.
Yeah.
It's no longer a thing that is now tangible and can be passed down or remembered by.
Yeah.
We've created something that is lifelong. It's not going away. You can burn that thing black. You can eventually completely destroy our product. Nothing's fireman proof. So being able to create something that's not just going to get thrown away or disintegrate with time or dry rot, or it's going to serve its purpose forever.
Yeah.
And it's something that we've actually created a whole little sub-industry of people collecting them.
Really?
People collect our product, not even to wear. We get pictures all the time, guys with shelves up in their office or their man cave or whatever, 30 shields hanging on the wall.
No way.
Yes.
I would have never guessed, but that's so interesting.
Because we do them, like right now, we're actually doing a fundraiser for a little boy in Tennessee named Dagan. And Dagan's on a trach and in a wheelchair. He was raised by his grandparents.
Oh, wow.
And his grandparents passed away, and now his caregiver adopted him so that he didn't have to go into a group home.
No way.
So
what a rock star.
It's unbelievable. He's the sweetest little kid. And he needs a better wheelchair van because being raised by elderly grandparents, he wasn't able to get out and do anything.
Yeah.
He wasn't able to go out and experience the world. And now he's like 8 or 9 years old, and he's just now getting out to go experience the world. And he's in his busted-ass van.
Yeah.
So we created this amazing design. You guys got to edit this thing into the video. It looks awesome. I had a graphic designer do like a van with Dagan hanging out the window.
No way.
And it's called Riding with Dagan. And I took his handwriting.
That's cool.
And we put it at the bottom. It says, "Thank you, love Dagan." And we're selling these shields.
That is awesome.
And every single penny, I'm not taking anything. Every single penny spent on those shields, I'm giving straight to his mom.
That is awesome.
So that they can buy a decent van.
That's so cool. I think that's such a cool thing to be able to do with your business. That's people that are in the business of just making money are in the business for the wrong reason. Clearly, that's not what motivates you.
No, not at all.
The ability to do that, that's not something that every business person in the world would say that's a waste of money. You could take that profit and do whatever you want. But that's more impactful. That's better for the world. That's better for the people. That's better for the firefighting community. That's better for everybody. It's better to have those sorts of things in your business. And I just think that's really cool. How did you get into doing that? Was philanthropic work something that was part of your family upbringing that you always knew about or were participating in? Or
well, let's be real. It does give you the warm fuzzies. It's great, but it lets people know who you are and what you stand for.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an indirect kind of marketing scheme. I'm not trying to be manipulative. I'm not trying to manipulate people into thinking I'm great or that we just give stuff away or anything. But it lets people know that there's heart behind that company.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you care enough about that kid.
Yeah.
It's okay. You're going to bring awareness to all of the things, to the business, to the cause, to the kid. And guess what? At the end of the day, they're going to have enough funds to go buy a wheelchair van and help them experience the world. So is it a bad thing that you can all benefit from that? Of course not.
All good things. I love it.
That's so cool.
All good things. So, and it's addicting. Giving. Once you start giving, it becomes addicting. Like, just watching people smile, or getting that reaction, even if it's over the phone.
Yeah.
Telling his mom, "Hey, we've got enough money for the van. I can't wait."
That is going to be so
cool. I cannot wait to tell her that we've got enough money for the van.
How do people get involved in those things that you're doing?
Follow our page and buy the shit we sell.
On Facebook, on which platforms?
I'm heavy on Facebook
Yeah.
because I am the marketing guy. I don't have a marketing person to help me out. So I'm heavy on Facebook. It cross posts to Instagram.
Oh, cool.
I'm good-ish at communicating with my customers through Facebook.
Yeah.
Creating those sections that are created under a post. I turn them into like an AOL chat room, and we'll sit there. Oh, look, I'll tear into some people. It's so much fun.
That's awesome.
And they think they're the ones winning, but really I'm the one grinning from ear to ear, sitting here. Oh, that was a good meme. Just tearing into them, and we'll post something. We'll do a giveaway, and then I'll spend an hour and a half in the comments just responding to every person.
Yeah.
Or trying to at least react to their comment, or let them know that I'm acknowledging that they participated in whatever the thing is that we're doing.
Yeah.
And just letting people know that that's Taylor that's answering you in the comments on the Facebook page after hours.
That is so cool.
It's fun.
Well, what's next for Taylor's Tins? I feel like there's a lot of things you're doing now, but there's got to be more you got planned.
We're going to sell out. I'm kidding.
I was like, oh, okay.
This podcast took a dramatic turn.
Yeah. Got him.
Man, right now we're in a growth phase, and we've developed a handful of products. We've got the gas monitoring reference cards. We've got pump operator reference cards. We do station signage. We've got a couple signs and sizes that we can do. All things that kind of tie into what we're already doing. I don't want to start a whole separate company off of it. So we think through every new product and make sure that it's going to fit in our wheelhouse, and it's going to fit with our dance.
Yeah.
The dance that we do in the shop. I don't want
we're
all over here doing the salsa, and now you've got to go do the cha-cha slide because I'm sorry. I decided we want to do this product, and now you have to go.
Yeah.
So we're adding on to the building. We're adding on space. We're adding people.
Exciting.
So it's kind of like a pay it back to the company move, where we grow and we start to find our weak spots.
Yeah.
So we identify the weak spot, add a person to fix that, make sure that they're a good fit for the role, and let the dust settle, see where and let the business grow back from that.
Yeah.
And then reinvest it in whatever the new weak spot is, and just keep addressing those spots that we need people. I mean, we're still only like 6 people, and I'm pretty sure that includes me and my wife. So we're a really small operation, but we want to pay really well.
Yeah.
Keep people happy.
Yeah.
Breed a good culture, and hope that these people that we're investing in want to reinvest in our mission and what we're trying to do.
That's awesome. All right, Chelsea, what do we miss before we have to go get some chicken nuggets at the Have you been to Sierra Nevada yet?
Well, so that kind of is related to one thing we haven't talked about, but you said that you were open to talking about, because Sierra Nevada is a brewery, and I didn't know if that would be like an ideal. It's lots of good food. But so you had said that you got sober a month after starting the business, and that was something that might be good to talk about. So
can you tell me about it?
Yes, I would love to.
So I'm curious. Tell me about sobriety and starting your business and that sort of thing. I've never dove into that myself, but I'm so curious from someone who's been through that sort of thing.
I struggle with addiction. I do. It's like a thing. Like, even after all my arm surgeries, I won't take any of the pain medicine because I don't trust myself.
Really?
I know myself, and I'm very in tune with, I recognize what I'm thinking and what I'm doing. So I was a heavy drinker, lots of drinking. And I was out of tune. Like, I didn't
not like functioning, just like have a drink on the side, but like too much.
Way too much. Drink to get plastered.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely fucking annihilated. And, people loved me at the parties. I was always doing something exotic and crazy, jumping off of something, go to a winery with friends.
So this is why the shoulder was all fucked up.
Yeah, from my escapades. go to a winery and end up in the bird bath in the middle of the place. I mean, just crazy shit. But that I didn't have kids. It was just me and my wife. I had my little side hustle business, and then I started the business. And I remember the last time I drank, we went out and we went and had some drinks with some friends, went to their house and came home and went to bed. And I woke up the next morning and the bed was completely stripped. I was naked and my wife was nowhere to be found.
Oh, no.
And I got up and I was like, what the fuck is going on? I walked out and I found her in the guest bedroom and I said, what happened? She goes, you threw up all over the place. So I stripped you. I cleaned you up the best I could. I'm sorry, I couldn't sleep in there. It smelled too bad. I had to go sleep in the guest bedroom. I'm like, apologize to me. And it was in that moment that I was like, wow,
that's
crazy. You are such a piece of shit. This woman deserves so much better than this.
Yeah.
She doesn't deserve this. The fuck? And done. I just quit.
You just said, oh, no,
cold turkey.
No way.
Quit drinking.
Was it hard? Like, I mean, obviously that was your whole, like, if you did that much of it, you probably had quite a lifestyle around it.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing is that I just started the business. So all of that energy that I was pumping into either hiding how much I was drinking, or effort into, well, where are we going to go eat? Because I'm trying to drink a gallon of Guinness tonight, like all that energy, I turned it around and I pumped it back into the business.
Interesting.
So you take a high-functioning alcoholic and take away the alcohol, and they can do some pretty miraculous shit. So
channel the energy. So it's like the sunflower seeds for the guys that quit smoking. Like that sort of thing for you is, let me just get back to work.
Yep.
That's wild. Did it affect your fire service life or?
No. I drank on my days off, and I was usually pretty good about making sure I was sober by the next day, sort of thing.
Yeah. But what about the guys at the station? Would they come over and everyone would get sloshed in their off time and like that sort of thing? Or was it mostly you?
We had some get-togethers because we were young. We had an entire house and fire pit out back and all that stuff. So we had somewhere for people to party, and it was good. We weren't exactly like party drinkers.
Yeah.
And that almost makes it worse.
Yeah, where it's just like social drink till infinity.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So I put all that shit away, and I feel like it's made me a better business owner, runner, manager, whatever. It definitely made me a better husband. And goddamn, I got 2 little boys at home, and they got a dad that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
In it to win it type of, that's cool. It's interesting to hear the willpower you have, though, to be able to actually do it. Because so many people know the personality, and then they can't do it.
Yeah.
And you got to have more willpower than you have addiction. I think it's an interesting way that you've got.
I'm a man of vices.
Yeah.
Like I'll pick a thing, and right now it's business.
That's a great thing to have as a vice.
But I've got my other, I smoked from the age of 16 till I met my wife.
Oh, really?
And she wasn't going to date me if I smoked. So I switched to chewing.
Oh, wow.
So I smoked a pack a day from 16 to like 20, and then I started chewing, and then thank God they invented these goddamn vape sticks. I'm telling you, I'm a nicotine caffeine fiend.
That's wild.
It's constantly going.
Yeah.
Like I didn't eat breakfast this morning because I didn't want to knock down my caffeine buzz that I got going. You know what I'm saying?
From
like
68 cups of coffee.
Go. We gotta go. And you seem like you've got it naturally, and I'm jealous a little bit. You bounce on your own. I need to. In the morning, it's kind of like
give it a little go.
It's a cold start.
I wonder if there's like something about being a business person that like you almost have to have a little bit of an addictive personality to be able to, like, why the hell else would you work a 16-hour day with a smile on your face and bust your ass through it and then do it again and again and again and again?
I think it's a very interesting personality. And in this industry especially, you start to, I'm sure you've seen it, companies that come and they get hot real quick and then they're gone.
And they explode and they disappear, yeah.
And they're gone. And you're like, what the fuck happened? Well, it's whoever was running that wasn't prepared for that, or they didn't have the personality that matched what it was going to entail to continue to go. I mean, my business almost cost me my marriage.
Really?
My drinking almost cost me my marriage, and then I turned around and I put all of that energy into the business, and the business almost cost me my marriage.
How did you get things back on the right track?
Lots of talking and mutual respect and understanding, and just basically me repeating myself over and over again, like, I promise it's worth it. I promise if you just let me finish the path I'm on, I promise this will be worth it.
Yeah.
But that's hard to understand from the spouse's point of view when all they know is you're gone constantly.
Yeah.
And you don't have a job.
I can't remember if I said this in my list. I think I stopped because Sam was being such a non-listener. But you talked about your ego a little bit before and how that was like your biggest flaw and how, well, I don't want to tell your whole story for you, but you guys almost like talked about like ego stuff, but I think it would be...
Elaborate. What did I say?
Like you didn't like to listen to customer ideas, but some of their requests have become bestsellers.
Oh, that is something that I've learned to adapt to.
Tell me a little bit about that. Tell me like how do you deal with customers that want to give you advice all the time or that want you to change the way you do things to help how does that work in the custom stuff world?
Early on, it was like, because we were limited design wise, that just kind of became what we did. And so then, because there's an art aspect to this. There's your style, the way it looks. I can make a shield that can look like my competitors. I can make a shield that completely mimics that. It wouldn't be hard at all.
Technically speaking.
But I don't want to.
Ethically speaking.
Ethically, that's horrible. That's a great way to shoot yourself in the foot, especially in this industry.
Yeah, when everyone knows everyone always.
It's not that big.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people to get super pissed in the power of social media. So it's just like, no, I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And that kind of, early on, that turned into a little bit of a my way or the highway because I'm experiencing success.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it right. Don't tell me how to do it. I'm doing it right.
Interesting.
And there was a flaw, and it was very ego-driven. It was a lot of me thinking I knew best. And that was a downfall.
So like when someone would say, hey, I want you to copy my whatever, you'd be like, no, those guys are idiots. This is the way I want to do it.
Right. So
in your head anyway. I mean, maybe not.
But I completely blocked it out. I didn't even attempt to try to come full circle and bring the customer back to a place where, hey, I know it's not the same.
Oh, versus like bringing them with you. You're just like, nah, okay, I'm done talking to you.
Yes.
Interesting.
They would still buy something, but it was nowhere near what they wanted.
Versus like really get them to buy into what it is, like so that they feel like they're getting the right thing.
Yes. So all of my shields up until only a few months ago have been my hand-drawn, very specific shapes. And they're not super digestible.
The actual like shape of the metal thing. Yeah.
So it's not a super digestible thing for somebody who's used to looking at a different product.
Oh.
So it was a culture shock. It was like a visual turnoff for some of our customers.
Yeah.
And since day one, I was completely against faking stitch on a tin shield.
Like, you mean the thread stuff?
Faking, like,
just you wouldn't print it, or you wouldn't.
I wouldn't do it. Really? They'd be like, can you put stitching around the outside of the shield? I was like a leather?
Oh, because it goes against everything you do. It's like, no, this is tin. It's not leather.
No, this isn't. We're not doing that. I said I can put a solid line on there.
That is hilarious.
Recently, we added a shape that's a little bit more digestible. It's based on a vintage shape of shields from like the 60s. Interesting. And I also went ahead and we applied stitching. And it has gone absolutely fucking insane.
No way.
The new shape is 10 times more popular than my most popular shape.
I'm looking at our shield and the logo today, and it's got stitch. That is so fun. I never would have paid any attention to even thinking that meant obviously it's leather. Like, that is so funny.
But the benefit is that you've got guys on departments where chief is so specific. No, it has to look just like ours.
Yeah. So now you can bring them into your club. They get what they want. They experience your difference. The next one they buy may have a solid line. The next one may have no line. Now they're a Taylor's 10 fan.
Yeah. We get them all bought into it. And then the nice thing about our products is the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Our competition can be 12 weeks out. And that's not uncommon. 12 weeks out on something super basic that really isn't all that special.
That's wild.
Cookie cutter stuff. I could have your face on a shield in this office tomorrow.
That's crazy.
It just, the way that it's all designed and the dance and the shop is set up in just such a way. We just did Firehouse Expo.
Oh, yeah.
And customers that were there on the first day that sat down with me or my wife and drafted and designed a shield, their shields beat them home.
No way.
Yes.
Well, Taylor, I've really enjoyed having you on. Tell our folks where they can find you online on Facebook and on your website.
TaylorStins.com.
Oh, beautiful. And Facebook.com/
Taylor's Tins.
Taylor's Tins. Thank you so much for being here, man. I really
Absolutely.
enjoyed chatting with you. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna break
Oh, that
the
was
mic.
really nice. Just fling the mic off the table. Hey, guys. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something. If you want to be on the show or you know someone who should, head over to the2448.com and submit your business. Don't forget to follow and subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. If you thought it was 4 stars, still give us 5 stars or I will find you. See you next time. Later. Can you bring a fire truck? Actually, I heard you have one.
Dude, I cannot wait to bring you this fire truck.
I wanna see
I'm gonna
this
let you
thing
just
so
go
bad.
fucking bananas on this thing. I
This
threw
is
my
gonna
phone
be the
away.
greatest
I'll
day
show
of
you
my
later.
life. I can't wait.
I'm so excited.
This is
So we
gonna be-
decided I had 3 fire trucks.
You had 3 fire trucks.
I had 3.
Have you met Lee that works for us?
Yeah, I've met Lee a
Can
few
you
times.
please convince him to buy one? Because when he does, I don't know that it will make. I don't know what will happen. I don't know if he'll ever come back to work. But this dude needs a fire truck in his life, and he's kind of been like hesitant to pull the trigger.
I'll make Lee a deal. I've got a 74 Pierce that
Oh my God, Lee's gonna freaking
he can
die.
have it. He can have it under one condition.
What is that one condition?
That I want you guys to baby her and take super good care of her and deck her out and let me see her anytime I want to see her.
Oh my God.
Will you tell this to Lee while you're
Yeah.
while you guys are?
Lee might kiss you on the mouth.
I'll literally
You
give
might
it.
wanna
I
be
will
careful.
literally give it to you. I will give you the fire truck after she needs to go into the shop. She runs fine. I drive it all the time. She runs great. She's in good shape. She needs some love. She needs cosmetic love.
We love.
But I'm going to take her to the shop. I'm going to do a full service on this fire truck, and then you can send somebody to come pick it up.